Hello, RTP. This is your host Vaishnavi, and as you all know, that there's a lot going on at USCIS, and there are a lot
Yes.
of proposals are coming up, and so that's why we thought we'll do a special show again. And again, we have Brown Immigration Law, who has always been supportive, and on short notice, they are here with us today. We have Kelsey Berger again from Brown Immigration Law to discuss about the proposed H-1B fee and what's going on and whether people should really get panic over that or there is still there is they need to know a lot of things about it instead of assuming.
Right.
So before we begin, can you explain the difference between proposed rule and a final rule?
Right, right. And thank you so much for having me even on the short notice. This is good information to get out. Yeah, so basically what the government has said is that they would like to implement, this new rule of 103,265 for certain H-1B filings. And basically what that says is that their intent to impose this rule and make it final. It's called the proposed rule period. So for 30 days, folks can add their submit their feedback, their comments about what they think about this role, and then the government's supposed to take it into consideration, decide whether they want to move forward with it and implement it after that 30-day period, or if they want to kind of walk it back a little bit and change it. So it's not finalized until after that 30-day period.
Right. So, what exactly DHS proposing for H-1B visas? You said that 100K fee.
Right.
Is it already in effect, or is it like who would be required to pay this additional fee?
Yeah, so again, this is a proposed, so it's not in effect yet. It could go into effect after the 30 days, after that kind of comment period is done. So maybe sometime late next month we could see it go into effect, or maybe it won't. But basically what the government's saying is that they want to impose $103,265 additional filing fee for H-1Bs that are cap subject. So basically what that means is it's a majority of the H-1Bs, and that the H-1B filings that would not be covered or required to make that payment would be those who are extending their current H-1B filing, those who are submitting transfer filings between different H-1B employers, or those who are cap exempt employers. So employers such as universities, nonprofit research organization, or government research institutions, those would not be required to the fee wouldn't be applicable.
Okay, so they need to understand that whom does it apply? Is it to every H-1B petition, or only, as you said, like only cap subject
Only cap subject.
petitions?
Right.
Okay. And would it affect people already selected in FY 2027 H-1B lottery?
Presumably yes, because basically after you're selected in the cap, then you're going to be filing, for the actual H-1B. So basically what they're saying is when you pay all those additional fees when you're actually applying for, an H-1B status or H-1B, change of status from H-1B or to H-1B, then that would be another filing fee that you could be paying. So again, this because it's a proposed rule, we kind of have to see, next month how this kind of plays out in reality. But tentatively, that's how it would apply.
And how would this affect, F1 students currently working on OPT?
I mean, it's definitely a consideration if they want to move into H-1B, because now, if they're going to be under the cap subject, this is another consideration for employers. And I doubt most employers want to, give up over $100,000 for filing fee for one person. It's huge. They have a lot. Yeah, it's huge for anybody, even a large employer. That's a large sum of money that the government's asking for.
And are non-profit organizations or universities or small businesses, they are exempt from this rule?
So universities, nonprofit research institutions, so nonprofits who are actually doing research, and then government who are actually doing research, they would not, this fee would not apply to them. But, if they're just a small company and they don't fall into, the university, nonprofit research, government research category, then presumably, yes, that would also apply to them, which would be really, really painful, especially for those companies.
Absolutely. Yeah, can employers, legally ask employees to pay this fee?
No, I mean, like all the other filing fees that are associated with H-1B, they can't pawn it off onto the employee. So it would be something that would be, employer
It's gonna be
specific.
really tough.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And what could the proposal, when could this proposal become the maybe in effect?
Finalized and
Yeah,
everything.
finalized.
So the government has 30 days from when they first issued this proposed rule, which was yesterday. So, around September 24th or so, we could be seeing, it being finalized or kind of go into effect, pending they don't have any changes to make further after that notice and comment period.
Right. Okay. And is there a public comment period, and how can people participate?
Yes. Yeah, it is. It is public comment. The public has, an opportunity to kind of respond and put their thoughts into it. All of the instructions on how to do that are within the proposed rule. And so, that I don't know that right off the top of my head, unfortunately, but if they go to the, just search the rule and find the federal registrar, that's the law that it's under proposed. It has all the instructions on where, how, and when to provide their comments.
Yeah, every time such news comes on social, and when people see that, okay, there is again a new rule, they assume that, it's already in effect.
Right.
So, and they get panic, when they see that, okay, now there is a fee, and it is already in effect. So I think that's where I think the Brown immigration law comes and explains about it. That's really, we really appreciate you that you take time and come here. So what do you think, what is the biggest misunderstanding about this announcement?
Yeah, I think the biggest misconception is that this is already in effect. That this law is already in effect. This change is already in effect. But it's not. It's just proposed. It's kind of like when you go to your parents and you say, can I please have something, and they're like, let me think about it. That's kind of where we're at. We're in the let me think about it period, and kind of see how that goes. And then if it settles well, or when the government decides to move forward, then they'll move forward and make and implement it. But like the other 100,000 H-1B visa fee, I think this is going to be met with some serious scrutiny and some legal challenges. Absolutely.
Right, and I think it's just recently that yesterday,
right,
it is out, and so I'm sure you must be getting a lot of calls or inquiries about it.
Sure.
So, what kind of questions are you hearing from people about after it is out?
Yeah, I mean, this is so new. I think people are still digesting it. Of course, I'm sure it's blown up all over social media, as we've seen, and the news. A lot of news folks have publicized that this is a tentative rule. Yeah. And I think again, just a lot of concerns of what if this goes, what if this is implemented? What about if this becomes a final rule? Then what happens? And I think a lot of that we just have to kind of wait and see what actually happens. And even if it does become a law, again, I think it's going to be litigated, so there could be a lot of back and forth. And I think similar to how we saw the litigation and kind of the back and forth with the H-1B visa $100,000 fee that's kind of been all over the place. I think we could see kind of similar action on this. Yeah,
so they need to wait till September 24th.
Yeah, I know, it's hard.
It's very hard to wait for a month, and it just started. People are thinking about it. They started thinking about it, and right. They're afraid that what could be the final thing which will be announced on September 24th.
Yeah, around that time. I think right now the biggest thing is just know that it's not final. We don't know exactly how this is going to be implemented, and so I think the best thing to do is just keep an eye on it, and keep asking great questions, especially as we get close to the end of September. Absolutely. But I mean, the best thing that anyone can do for themselves is just to stay informed on the facts, and not to panic over something that somebody might see on Reddit or social media, but just to get to the truth and the facts, and that will, I think, help people make informed decisions.
Yeah, you mentioned Reddit. I was seeing Reddit, and it was blown up with the questions. A lot of people are commenting. They're giving their own guidance. They are giving their own opinion, and the people who are reading, I think that's where people are started assuming things. Of course, when they see it on social, and especially the comments on Reddit, they believe that they're so, what do we call, that's a mark for everyone to trust.
Right.
But I think, so where can listeners get reliable updates or legal guidance, you should say?
Yeah, I mean, of course, we're here to help. But any reliable attorney, who practices in the employment, immigration sphere is a great resource.
Right.
They can keep an eye on the federal registrar website with this actual rule. And USCIS, generally posts pretty regular updates about any changes. So just go to the source. Go directly to source. Skip Reddit. That's going to give people anxiety, I think. Social
Yes.
media. Go directly to the law, the legal website, and to USCIS and to a licensed attorney.
Right. Anything else, Kelsey, you think people should know with this announcement? They should be taken care of. They should not get panic, and I think now they have a time frame of like a month,
right,
to hear the final announcement from USCIS. So, what do you think that people should be? Maybe you can say back then, like for the next month. It's next month is just like 4 weeks away.
I know. It's
So
not
what
that
is
much
the
time.
preparation people should have who are filing H-1B petitions, or they already filed, or maybe they are F1 students and trying to file, they are in OPT and all that. So what is the final thing you would like to say for all the listeners?
Yeah, I mean, I think now is a good time to speak with the potential employer, to the employer, and have a discussion about, is this something that is going to affect me, or how would the employer's, outlook on retaining, H-1B employees might change because of this, if this goes into effect, and then talk to a licensed immigration attorney just on, options. If let's say this does go into effect and you have an employer that, especially coming from a student status to H-1B,
Right.
and cap subject, and let's say the employer's like, I don't really want to pay over 100,000, which who can blame them, then it's good to talk to a licensed attorney just to examine all other potential options. That way we're not, getting to out of time for whatever status somebody's in, and then we're scrambling to try and figure out what next steps we could take.
All right. Thank you, Kelsey. That was
course.
amazing. I hope we helped a lot of people who are listening to our show and they stop assuming things. And please understand that this is a proposed rule, not yet being in effect. And you still have time for like 4 weeks.
Right.
That's September 24th. I think more than 4 weeks now.
Around that time.
Yeah, it's around that time. And I think you can do all your homework which you need to do and be prepared and talk to attorney if you have any questions, rather than believing on any comments on social, especially, and
Right.
don't assume. So I think that's about it. So let's wait for the final rule to be implemented and effective from maybe September 24th. 2026. And always the brown immigration is here, especially who are in local in Raleigh-Durham area. I think they're the best people to approach, and always they are here to help us. You might have heard a lot of podcasts which we are doing on all the visas. I think almost we are covering a lot of visas.
Yes.
And they are here to help you with the immigration questions.
Absolutely.
And also you are in multiple locations. So would you like to give your contact information, and probably people can reach out to you?
Of course.
Not just in local RTP, but also from other locations. You are in Ohio. You are
absolutely, yes. We've got offices in Cleveland and Columbus, Ohio, as well as Tampa and Orlando, Florida, and then of course here in Durham, North Carolina. So we're everywhere, and even if folks aren't in those exact areas and they're out in California or Texas, wherever, we're happy to assist them at whichever office. But folks can find us on our website. That's brownmlaw.com. That's brown like the color, BROWN. I as in ice, M as in Mary, M as in Mary, law.com. And our telephone number is 919-225-3963. And that would be, the best way to reach our office and get help on any inquiries folks might have.
All right. Thank you so much, Kelsey, for once again, thank you, because on a short notice, you are here at RadioNyra studio to be answer all the questions regards to H-1B petition. Appreciate that. And we are missing Rishi, of course.
Yes.
He's not here today with us, but yeah, I mean,
we'll do another update on this once this, kind of pans out, in the next month or so. And I'm sure he'll be a great resource to have here next time as well.
Sure. Thank you so much, Kelsey.
Thank you.